We're starting off this episode pretty deep, so I'm actually gonna give you guys a Taco Bell haul, and then we'll get into the stuff. So, to start out, napkins. I got 2 Dorito Loco tacos. I don't know why, but I've loved these recently. I got a soft taco, and then for the first time, I'm trying a Crunch Wrap Supreme, and then mild sauce, obviously. Now on to trauma. My mind is reeling right now, and I don't really know what to think. Also, I know it's still technically Sunday, so this should go in last week's episode, but I'm gonna put it in this week's episode. I have CPTSD, and I have trauma responses that are really annoying, and anytime I feel unwanted or unsafe in a place, I convince myself things. I really thought that I was gonna get kicked out here. I thought that they didn't want me here. I thought I only had a couple weeks left until they were going to give me the boot. Validly, I am speaking out against their beliefs, so I understand why they would. I really would, but I just didn't want to be in that situation, so I prepared myself for it. I was like, I'm going to move out before I get kicked out, you know? Obviously, I'm not moving out just because of that. I still do want to go on this adventure, moving into my car and living with my sister and seeing my little sisters a lot more in Florida. This is a journey I need to go on and something I want to do regardless. It was a little bit stemmed in the fact that I was so scared of getting kicked out, and this is not the first time this has happened, and the last time was worse. And it's even in my episode, so if you guys want to watch season 1, it happened in season 1. But I lived with my best friend Shreya, and whenever I got my driver's license, I convinced myself, and I was so scared that Miss Jen was gonna kick me out and be so mad. I basically packed up all of my stuff, moved out, and moved into Sarah's house without even telling them because I was so scared that I was gonna get kicked out. I just did it. I just moved. And then later on, whenever I told her, she was like so kind, so patient. She was so fine with it. She was so happy for me getting my driver's license, and it was the exact opposite reaction than I was anticipating. I ended up having a sit-down conversation with her, and I apologized, and I was like, I have a lot of trauma responses, and I'm so sorry I responded in this way. I don't think this is the kind of person you are. I'm so used to my mom responding certain ways. It's drilled in there. I feel like subconsciously I was doing that with this as well. Not to the same extent, because it wasn't like I was just moving out and not telling them and then just leaving. But whenever I told Sarah, I told her that I was moving out tonight, she like asked me questions. She was like, are you excited? You know, is this something you want to do? And I was like, yeah. And then whenever I went back into my room, she came to my room and she was like, please just know that you always have a place to live here. You are always welcomed. And I just was not expecting that. I wasn't expecting her to be like, you're welcomed here no matter what. I thought that it was going to be something where she was going to go down and tell her fiance, oh my God, guess what? She's moving out. Wow, let's go. And that I know is stemmed in my own trauma behaviors. I've kind of been aware of that. I've been aware that these are trauma responses and that I was going to be experiencing these things during this transition. I was really conflicted with everything in life because I never know if what I'm thinking is rational, but then it's like whenever I want to talk to someone else about it, I'm always just assume they're gonna write me off as irrational. Anyways, to kind of wrap up the first part of what I was talking about in conclusion so it makes sense, I'm still confident in my decision to move out, and I still think it's something I really need to do for my own health and my own needs, but I feel like my trauma responses really kind of got in the door a little. These videos, I'm aware that whenever I post these videos, it's for me to look back to my old stages, my old phases, my old thought patterns. I'm able to see how much I've grown and, oh, that's how I thought about that situation then, but this is how I think about it now. I'm able to see those differentiate and all that kind of stuff. But other people, they might watch these videos and a video from a week ago is not the same person I am now. So I feel like whenever I talk about these things, my opinions are always evolving. They're always changing. I'm always learning new information and making sure I'm clarifying my decisions and yada, yada, yada. I'm gonna eat my Taco Bell and I will just see you guys in the next clip because I'm sure I will have it a lot more together in the next clip. So thank you for watching. I'm back already, and it's actually Monday this time by 2 minutes or 3 minutes. I'm watching this extremely fascinating podcast with this guy named Aubrey Marcus and with Dr. Bruce Lipton. And basically Bruce Lipton is talking about consciousness and how consciousness needs to be recognized in science and a part of our research because consciousness plays a much bigger part in our reality than people realize. Thoughts, actions, everything has energy. The thoughts you think emits energy out into the universe and creates the reality around you. This is science. This is quantum physics. These are scientists now talking about it. Sure, yeah, Bashar can talk about how he's an alien, an extraterrestrial, whatever. You can't prove that, even though there's brain scans, but you can't prove that. But now that scientists are actually starting to talk, this doctor is talking about how consciousness is having a huge role in our reality. Everything is consciousness because we already know that. Everything is energy. Everything is frequency. But it's just really nice listening to scientists confirm what I know. And I'm just learning the same truths from different sources, and it's all starting to add up, and I'm actually getting answers. This is how life should be, guys. You shouldn't read a Bible and have more questions than answers. You shouldn't be taught something and have more questions than answers. You should be able to learn information, and that information fills those questions. That information fills what you need to know. I just can't wait to keep learning and keep watching videos and keep exploring different topics, and I'm probably going to get a little bit into quantum physics. My algorithm is probably going to show me more things on it, but this was just a quick little clip. I might be back, but I'm not sure, but we'll see. Don't be surprised I'm back. Basically, right now they're talking more about consciousness. Consciousness is so important. It is so important to live your days consciously, especially as someone who struggles with mental illness and had a lot of behaviors that were really inefficient for a really long time. And I'm still working on them, obviously. He's talking about right now how there's forces in the world. There are corporations, big pharma, these rich companies everywhere. Literally everything that's in power right now is extremely corrupt. But he's talking about how they purposely keep people in a state of subconscious programming, because our subconscious is like autopilot. This is how they're explaining it, right? Our subconscious is like our autopilot. The behaviors that are programmed into us as we grow up without us even knowing, unconsciously knowing, because again, these are not things we're aware of. Awareness is consciousness, but most people are extremely unaware of most things that are happening in this world because they live in a state of subconscious programming where they don't even know what their behaviors are, what their actions are, how it affects other people, because they are so unaware. But it's also because our society has perfectly curated this way for profit. You can profit off of stupid people so easily, insecure people easily. You can take advantage of anybody at a lower vibrational state because they don't have control over their own self. They don't have control over their own mind. They are literally being run by these low vibrations and these programmings that have been programmed into them since they were born. So I just think this video is so interesting, and I still have a whole hour left. I have still so much to watch. I love the idea of consciousness because it's literally the building blocks of life. We have been taught all of the wrong things. We have been taught that life is something that it is not. We're taught that this is nothing happens after we die, or we should praise a Lord that is extremely homicidal and commits genocide the second he gets upset, or at least in the beginning of the Old Testament, because it gets better in the New Testament, because the New Testament and a little bit before that has the new aliens that have tried to do damage control from what the malicious aliens did by creating humans. So now the new aliens of the Anunnaki, the ones that came back to Earth, are like, let me help the humans become self-sufficient because our brothers and sisters corrupted them, made them ignorant little slaves. That's why so many people are NPCs, non-player characters. They go through life not even aware of anything and everything they do and how it affects other people because they're taught to be mindless, subconscious slaves, and they don't even know it. And then whenever you try to tell them, they get so defensive because they've been taught to get defensive, because if you say the truth, that's offensive. I need to chill the fuck out with this arrogant kind of tone. I don't even know if this is arrogant. Is this an arrogant tone? Am I being arrogant right now? Am I assessing my behavior correctly? I love learning so much, but I love having autonomy to learn. I don't want to be in a room being taught how to learn. I like to self-learn and then peer review and be questioned and have people involved in the process of learning, which I don't typically have, which now I do with Gray and Vic though, so they're very helpful. They at least listen to me, and they're very attentive to what I tell them. Yeah, I don't do well in a classroom and learning what you're being taught. I like to learn what I want to learn. I'm gonna shut up. I will be back though, so don't be surprised. BRB. You guys are gonna get so sick of that jingle because I never shut the fuck up. So many of these things are scientifically proven, but they are hidden from the public for control. I love learning. I literally love it. This is my passion, guys. I literally just love to learn. I love to expand my perspective and my knowledge, because knowledge is power, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and link this video down below in the description, so if you guys want to watch it, you guys can go ahead. It's so interesting. It's very, very open-minded. It's talking about things that aren't mainstream. Things that are mainstream are meant to keep you dumb and in control and in fear. Biggest thing is in fear, because if you're in fear, you have the lowest vibration, or not lowest, but a very low vibration. If like someone's robbing you at gunpoint, immediately like, here, take my purse, take everything, please. Like I don't want to die, because they also teach this concept that after you die, that's it. There's nothing more. You just die. You get this one life and that's it. Sorry guys, it's just you get one shot and that's it. When that's not true. We are learning about the truth of our actual reality that has been hidden from us for control. It brings me so much clarity watching this podcast and listening to a doctor and this intelligent ass man just talk about these things that just make so much sense. All the things that are fed to us by society doesn't make sense. It leaves you in a state of confusion, in a state of NPC. Whenever you find the right resources, whenever you start finding the correct things to learn about, you start actually having most of your answers being questioned. what? You end up getting all of your questions answered. I am so excited to be a part of this new journey in Earth and this new evolutionary stage that we're in, because I know the reality I'm going to be a part of. I know I'm going to help make hella change in the world and help things start to evolve instead of just staying stagnant. And if anything, not even stagnant, we're literally declining. It's unsustainable. Right now, society is unsustainable. That's not me saying that to be dramatic, not all of us saying that because we just don't want things to be this way. It's unsustainable. I think they said it in this video too. Again, go watch the video. But it takes 1.6 Earths to sustain what we have going now, and especially into our future. We're losing so many resources. It's super easy for us to get clean, renewable energy, but the profitable companies will not let that happen. There was this guy named Nicholas Tesla or something like that. He found a way to create free energy, free clean energy, but Rockefeller blacklisted him and made sure that never became a possibility. They tore down his inventions. The government took his work so that people could not get free clean energy because it's not profitable. Everything in this current society is built off of profit and control, and it's starting to collapse, and they know that. So now they're trying to get people to be so disempowered that way they can keep the control even while they're losing it. Power is literally falling out of the grips of these big corporations, and they're doing everything and anything they can to keep that power, to keep people disempowered. During COVID, again, in this video, they talked about how COVID disempowered the people. The only power we have as people is community. They've taken everything else. Everything else we're completely dependent on, but we have the power of community. During COVID, they stripped that. I'm so passionate about this stuff. I feel like my soul is on fire whenever I start to learn about all of this and talk about all of this, because again, this is new information. I'm digesting it as it is right now. New information comes in, I might change my perspective and I might digest new information and change the way I think. But right now, all of this makes sense. This is the first time I've ever really done research into something about society and stuff, and it actually made sense. The Bible, I read it to try to give it a chance, did not make sense at all. I was not expecting that horrific piece of literature. Okay? I do plan on finishing it because I do want to be able to say I have a complete valid opinion because I've read the entire Bible, but I have not gotten there yet. But that was whack. You are taught something completely different than what that book actually is. I'm sure towards the end, again, the Anunnaki was trying to do damage control from what the people in the beginning of the Bible did, but I think our society has made people scared of information because power means responsibility, and responsibility means knowing you are in control of your choices, and knowing you're in control of your choices means you can't be a mindless slave that gets to just breeze your way through life without care of how it affects other people. That's how ignorant people live. They live with complete bliss because they don't care how their actions and words affect other people, because they only know how it affects themselves, because they're living completely subconsciously, unconsciously. They're literally running off of autopilot. Again, I asked the question in my last video, is it a matter of unwillingness to learn and educate themselves, or do they have the inability to educate themselves? Do they have the inability to be able to broaden their perspective? I don't know. I can't think of theories. The only thing I can really think of is that it's an unwillingness to change their perspective. It's an unwillingness to change everything they've learned, because it would be a lot. It's a huge thing. I can understand that. It's a lot to process that everything you've been taught is a lie. But I think I've digested this pretty easily, because while doing my healing for BPD, I had to come to that realization within my mental illness, is that I was taught all of the wrong things, all of the wrong lessons, all of the wrong behaviors, and I had to completely unlearn everything, start learning things without assumption and previous association of something I previously learned. I had to learn everything in the moment. If you don't stand for anything, you fall for everything. I just had to reteach myself everything, which you can do without having to spend hundreds and thousands of dollars on professional help, which is helpful, but it's all about perception. You have to learn to trust yourself over external opinions. Know that you are valuable, you are powerful, you are beautiful, you are handsome, you are so capable of so many things. If you're like me, I understand limitation. I make these videos not because millions of people watch them, but because I just enjoy them, and I'm enjoying my life for what I want my life to be. I don't work a job that stresses me and that I'm miserable at, because I already have had a pretty miserable experience. I wasn't going to top that off with a societal job that you need to have, because you have to have a 9 to 5 or a fast food job or something that's creating stable income. I mean, stable income is important, don't get me wrong. Money is important because things are built off of it, but I'm just gonna shut the fuck up because I feel like I am just going on a complete tangent. I'll probably be back. Thank you for listening. Hi. Right now, they're talking about how we shouldn't waste our energy trying to directly attack the system. What we need to do is create a new system and put our energy into that new system and let them fall behind. And that reminded me of a video I had made whenever I was really angry. I was really frustrated with what was happening in the world. It just looks like the Hunger Games is being manifested into our reality and people don't even see it. You could watch the Hunger Games a billion times and they don't even see that that's a direct correlation to what's happening in our reality right now. Because some people don't even watch entertainment as a message. They just watch it. Oh, everything is just for fun. There's nothing to be learned from anything. Humble yourself. But I'd made a video and I talked about how we don't control the supply, but we control the demand. We need to change our perception of what we can control and what we can't. There are so many things we can't control. Do not waste your energy trying to control things you can't control, but you need to make sure your perception is on the nail about what you can control. A lot of times we think we can't control our perception on ourselves. We can't control how we live our life. We can't control what we say about people. We can't control this. We can't control that, but we are in full control of that stuff. And if we were to accept that we had control over that stuff, then we go through the shame spiral of, oh, it was all my fault this whole time. Oh my God, I'm so horrible. I should have just been doing better this whole time. But no, it's about becoming aware that we are in control of our consumption, our intentions, our behaviors, our actions. We're in control of all of that. But if we have been lacking with that stuff, we need to show ourselves compassion and understand that we've been taught not to, but now we need to consciously make an effort to do better and make sure our perception of ourselves is that we're awesome, we're powerful, we're beautiful, handsome, we are worthy of everything we could possibly want and need. Most people think that there's nothing they can control. They have no control over their lives. And I thought this way too. And in some areas, I can understand having a lack of control or feeling like control is being spun out. And sometimes we are in situations where control is out of our hands. But we need to work on what we can control. So yeah, don't stress over things you cannot control. It's a waste of your energy. It's a waste of your time. But you need to understand what you can control and make sure your perception is correct on what you can control, because we can control things like our consumption, what we choose to buy, where we choose to spend our time, where we choose to put our energy, and where do we choose to put our power is a big one. Where you choose to put your power. Nobody can ever take your power away from you. They can convince you they can take your power and you give it to them, but they could never take your power because you have autonomy, you have free will, but people manipulate and they lie so that way they can get it from you. So that's another thing to remember. These videos are just me info dumping about how I think life should be lived now. So you guys can enjoy this. Me info dumping about the ways we should live life and how life needs to change and how we can better it, which I don't think is a bad thing. If anything, I think this is all useful information. So if anybody's watching this, I hope they benefit from it. I'm gonna keep watching. No doubt that I'll be back. So don't be surprised whenever you see this video. One of the biggest things I need to work on is more of a collective mindset, making sure I'm finding more community. It's just unfortunate because this current society, it seems like the only free community is the church community, and you won't catch me dead. You won't catch me dead. No, not that church is horrible. I think church can be a great community for some people, but what they're teaching you there is ignorance. They're teaching you ignorance, and that's how you find peace, because ignorance is bliss. So I don't think that's the kind of community I want to find myself in, because I want to heal and I want to promote growth. And there they teach you, give all your problems to God. Don't worry about any of your problems. Don't work through any of it, when really we're co-creating with the universe. We're co-creating with God. We have to do our physical part and work through our problems and educate ourselves and be knowledgeable. And yeah, God can help us with our stress. The universe can help us with remembering that we are an eternal, infinite being. After we die, we remember who we are. This is all just a dream for us. This podcast episode just shines light on so many important topics that need to be talked about and need to be aware in our society, because the more aware we are of these things, the more change we're able to make. But we are programmed. I tell people this, you are brainwashed. Brainwashed is not an insult. We all have been brainwashed. I've been brainwashed. I've had to decondition myself. I've had to completely rewire my brain in the way I think and perceive things, because I was taught all of the wrong things. I was brainwashed. I think it is so important that we are aware of these conditionings that we go under and start to be aware of how these conditions affect other people and how it affects our perception on things and how it affects our own life, because most of these conditionings teach us that we're weak and that we need something to feel more powerful, and we need to give our all to something else, to a community or something, to feel whole. When all of the power is inside of us, then we need to come together, yes, as a community, but to share that power, not go to a community that teaches you that the only power is up there and that you need to worship that power up there. The power is within you. We are all God. We are all one with the universe. It is all a co-creation. We are basically the universe experiencing itself. We are God experiencing itself. Anytime I say the universe, source, God, they're all just the same thing. It's all just existence. Existence is God. But yeah, these church communities, they teach people how to be ignorant and think that they don't have power and they need to worship someone who has power so that way they feel powerful, when no, we need to tap into what's inside of us and trust ourselves and listen to what our heart is telling us, and then find community and share that and share the love. We're literally just conditioned to think that it's so-and-so against so-and-so. We're just puppets that they get to use as mindless slaves. Well, not me. I've broken myself out like a long time ago, but a lot of society is still under the influence of brainwashing. I'm trying to be a lot more understanding because, again, this is about healing, and you cannot heal through shame, and I should not be shaming people for going through conditionings that they couldn't control. People aren't even aware of the things that they are brainwashed about, obviously, because that's what brainwashing is. So I'm just trying to be a lot more understanding and a lot less judgmental. I get frustrated. I talk about these things in a very frustrated way because I think it's important to talk about, but I'm trying to do a lot better about holding understanding and being compassionate and acknowledging it for what it is and not shaming people for conditioning that they've gone under against their will. I want to talk about insecurity a little bit more, but I don't think I should do it in this video. Maybe I'll talk about it later. Hopefully I remember. I want to talk about insecurity and how it affects our society and how we can do better about it, because I used to be cripplingly insecure. I used to have so many hoodies. I could not show an inch of skin, and I think insecurity is actually another conditioning that people go under because, again, if you're insecure, you're profitable. Remind me to talk about that eventually. So I'm gonna keep watching. Maybe I'll be back. Who knows? I feel like I might as well become a reaction channel because I just want to give my opinions on everything. I just think it's important to share knowledge. That's my intention. Right now I'm watching another one of this guy's podcast episodes, Aubrey Marcus, and he's pretty cool, pretty chill. And I'm watching an episode about cannabis right now because I love cannabis. I love it so much. Hear me when I say this. I would not be here on this earth right now had I not found that green plant. I would not be alive right now. I would not have the brain I have right now. I would not, by any means, I would not have the mindset, the life, the happiness, the contentment, the knowledge that I have right now had I not started smoking weed. I love my brain. I understand the complexities of paranoia. I disprove my delusions whenever I was high. Whenever I'm high, I love the challenges it gives me. I don't do it just because, oh bro, I'm so high right now. This is so sick. I do intensive therapy and thinking whenever I'm high. It truly saved my life. It changed my perspective on everything in my life. And I'm watching this episode right now, and it's talking about how some people, when they smoke, they get paranoid. They have a lot of anxiety. The weed is showing you what's already there, because weed doesn't necessarily make you paranoid. You're already paranoid internally, and then the weed brings it out and shows you and makes you aware this is something you struggle with. It's bringing your awareness to things. I think weed brings awareness because that's what it did for me, at least. I know it's different for everyone, but for me, it brought nothing but awareness and peace because I became so aware of my behavior, so aware of my reality, so aware of the complexities of reality. My therapist even thought that I was schizoaffective at one point because I even suspected it because I've lived my life in delusion. Whenever my dad would talk about his dad and how his dad has schizophrenia and the things he was experiencing, I was like, keep your mouth shut, Stephanie, because you experience all of that too. And oh my god, now people are gonna watch this and think I'm fucking psychotic. I don't care. Fuck you. I also think it's because I'm autistic. I think the autistic brain is able to comprehend very complex topics, but we struggle with the beginner stuff, the stuff that's basic, brushing your teeth, feeding yourself, taking care of yourself. We struggle so much with these things to be able to function in the most basic ways, but we are able to understand things in a much more complex way than the average person sometimes. That's why we hyperfixate on things and we learn everything and anything that we can. We're able to digest information very, very well, especially whenever we're interested in it. But whenever it comes to the basic functioning things, it declines from there. But for me, smoking weed helped me immensely because I don't hide from the truth. Most people hide from the truth. So whenever a truth is brought up to them, shut it down, paranoia, anxiety, shut it down. I don't want to think about that. I don't want to think about that. I embrace it. I think about it. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's go through the complexities of this subject. Let me answer every single corner of this question that I possibly can. I even have it written in my diary, which is behind here. There was a part where I wrote that whenever I'm high, I hear my subconscious. My subconscious isn't subconscious whenever I'm high. I hear my subconscious. Let me see if I can find it. August 21st, 2023, 12:08 p.m. I hear my subconscious when I'm high. Interesting. That sounds extreme, but good people exist. Oh yeah, I had to drill into my head that good people exist and that I was allowed to be one of them. If you want to know what's right, you have to look at the action without bias. That's a smart thing to say. I love looking through my journal. Anyways, cannabis saved my life. It was so medicinal for me. It helped me expand my perspectives and really let me unlock who I am and dig through all of the deep-rooted things that I wasn't really aware of, the behaviors I wasn't really aware of, and it helped me cure my delusions. So, slay. Because it just doesn't make sense. Hypothetically, right? And trigger warning for psychotic experiences and psychotic thoughts and delusional thoughts, whatever you want to call it. So I don't want to trigger anybody into a state. I lived my life in entirety thinking I was being watched all day, every day. I would cross the street and think my therapist is watching me, so I have to act a certain way so that way she sees certain behaviors from me. And I thought that people would watch me from secret cameras in every single corner of the room, so anytime I walked into a room, I instantly had to look and identify all the cameras. And then I told myself one day while I was high, and I was like, interesting, Stephanie, let's think about this, right? If someone were to be watching you every moment of every single day, can you control that? No. I can't control that. Now, if someone were to do something to harm you because they're watching you, can you control whenever they were to try to attack you? No, I wouldn't be able to control that until the moment I would be defending myself. So what's the purpose of stressing over a reality or a possibility that you have no control over until that actually happens and presents itself to you? So I kind of just disprove it. There was so much complexity to it. I miss smoking so much. It helps me so much. It helps me find clarity, and it helps me critically think, and it helps me relax. I have chronic stress, and I feel like it gives me a moment where I'm not experiencing chronic stress. I'm not going to use a microphone this time because I already put everything away because I thought I was done filming. But I think recently, these past few days or past few weeks, I feel like I've been recognizing how much my ego plays a part in my life right now. I feel like I'm swimming through so many different topics and ideas and concepts, and I get lost in it all because as I'm finding myself, I feel like my ego is starting to get in the way, and I start to have these thoughts of like, oh, I'm so smart and everybody is so ignorant, and I'm like, I don't like those thoughts. Where do those thoughts stem from? Why do I feel the need to belittle people to make myself feel better about myself? And it's not an intentional thing, but I think it's because I'm processing these last few months that I'm not as stupid as I thought I was. I was raised to think I was. And I think through this process, my ego has kind of uplifted itself a little bit. That way it'd be a little grandiose, being like, oh, I'm actually kind of smart. I'm actually kind of cool. I'm actually like all these great things and stuff. And now that I know how to accept compliments and I'm trying to get better about saying positive things about myself, I feel like my ego is reintroducing itself into my life and I want it gone. Obviously, the ego is a part of us, but I don't really want it to be a prominent part of who I am because I don't like those thoughts where I think I'm greater than those, because I really don't think that. I don't have a core belief that I think I'm better than everyone else and everyone else sucks. But I think it's because not only the environment I'm in right now, but I think as I'm processing all this new information and I'm processing all these different truths, not only about myself and about the world, I want to feel special. I think that's what it is. I want to feel special. I want to feel like I have a purpose. I want to feel like an individual. As I learn more about the collective and how we're all one, I feel like this small part of me feels tinged. Like, so you mean I'm never gonna have a spotlight? I'm never gonna be able to climb that ladder and be able to say I've accomplished so much and I've learned so much compared to other people, and that all stems from the ego wanting to be more than others.
I just need to let my ego step down a little bit more. I need to break this concept that I'm more important, or that I have some type of importance that's more than the average person, when that's not true. I feel like we're all equal at the end of the day. We all go into the universe and we're all one, but also there's concepts I might not even fully understand yet. But yeah, there's a part of me that wants to be special. I want to have importance. I want to have a specific meaning that without me, things would crumble or something. I really need to work on that. That's why I want to do shrooms, because I did 1 gram of shroom. It didn't do anything. Maybe I saw lights be bright for like 2 seconds, but that was it. My friend noticed that my eyes were dilated, so I knew that there was substance in my system, but the 1 gram of shroom didn't do anything to me. I was literally like, what the fuck is this? I feel cheated out of my experience. So the next time I do shrooms, I'm gonna try 3 grams, because I want to have an ego death, but I want to work my way there. But I want that experience so that I love challenging myself. I love challenging my mind. I love to overdo it so that way I can challenge myself. So I really want to experience that ego death that people talk about, where you go so deep into your subconscious. All I want is to go into my subconscious. I want to know everything. I want to find everything that's hidden and heal it. But yeah, I want my ego to be gone and over with, because I've been way too involved with it recently. I feel like I've been wanting this over importance, over purpose, when I think I'm just another human who's trying to help other people. I'm not more or less special than anybody else, which is a core belief I hold. I know that I'm not more or less special than anybody else, but my ego gets in the way and I'm like, I want to be more important. So I'm gonna watch this last podcast. This podcast I'm about to watch is 3 hours long, and it's about 3 a.m. right now, but I'm nocturnal. My brain wakes up at night and it goes to bed in the day. Oh, I have to take my car to the mechanic tomorrow. Damn, I really hope it's gonna be inexpensive. I cannot afford to drop $1,000 on my car right now. I have $300 to my name. Take it or leave it. So I'm watching a new podcast. It's with Linda Morton Howell, I'll link them all down below, and all the videos I'm referring to, I'm going to link them down below, because I really do encourage you guys to watch them. But it's talking about how consciousness is everything. Light and darkness is basically consciousness and unconsciousness. To some extent, maybe. I hope I have this right. Basically, the more unconscious, the more unaware you are, the deeper you fall into darkness. The deeper you fall into darkness and not even be aware of the darkness that you're falling into. But the more you're aware of things, the more you're conscious of things, the higher your frequency is, the more you're in the light. And here on Earth, we are experiencing positive and negative things, not only for experience and to grow up spiritually and evolve as consciousness, but we choose and we go through positive and negative experiences to expand our consciousness. But as a human, because we forget everything, whenever we are manipulated or we fall into darkness too deep and we don't really have something to help us get out of that without manipulation or control, we fall deeper into darkness and deeper into unconsciousness, into being unaware. This is just so interesting. I'm trying to explain it, but they explain it so well because she's very intelligent. And obviously, again, I take everything with a grain of salt. This is just extremely interesting information, and it makes sense. This is not information that I'm gathering that I have more questions than answers. If anything, this is answering all questions because it's seemingly the truth. All different sources point to the same truth. So it's also just so strange that there are so many different extraterrestrial interactions going on Earth that we're so unaware of, or, you know, obviously it's purposely, we're not aware of it because it's not being taught to us by the mainstream of everything, because the mainstream of everything is the corruption in it all, which is a whole big thing. But this is just so fascinating and I love learning about it, and I just want to talk about it all day, every day. And that's why I think I love The 100 so much. The 100 is my favorite show. I've watched that show over 7 times. I've watched it like 3 times high, 4 times sober. The first time I watched it was with my dad, and I have so many good memories of us whenever we were first watching it. We would always be like, flags at the ship, like, oh, that's a flag, that's a flag. It's very precious memory for me. But The 100 is one of my favorite shows because it really opened my eyes to religion and corruption and manipulation, because in the show it shows so many different dynamics about how religion and these concepts are manipulated into people's minds, where there's truth to what they're talking about, but they don't understand that what they're being taught is completely different than what's the truth. So whenever in The 100, the last season is one of my favorite seasons. Everybody hates the last season because I know it's very complex. It's a very complex concept to kind of wrap wrap your head around, but for me, I just loved it so much. I watched it so many times. I understood it very easily. And the last season was basically how these Bardonians on this different planet, on planet Bardo, they had these scripts that was talking about how there's going to be this last war, there's going to be judgment on humanity, and they have to prepare for the last war. So on planet Bardo, they created this military essence, and basically they took away all love and humanity from these soldiers and turned them into warrior soldiers, so that way they could fight the last war. So then whenever Jordan, Monty and Harper's son, he read through the text because he could understand, I think it was Chinese, or I can't remember what the exact language was. I don't think it was Chinese though. It was something similar. Anyways, but he read the text and he was like, hey, you guys have all of this wrong. It's not a last war. It's a last judgment. It's a last test. Humanity is going to be tested on their actions and their intentions and stuff. And those intentions and actions will decide whether or not you are worthy of ascension. And obviously they discounted that. Oh, we've been studying these texts for years and years and years. You're wrong and blah, 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 blah. But then whenever they eventually did the test, the guy was like, oh, it was a test. And then humanity got doomed because they all were stupid as fucking got manipulated. They weren't stupid. They were manipulated. They were corrupted, brainwashed, and manipulated. They weren't stupid. But I just love the show because it shows all of these complex concepts of what reality really is compared to what it's taught to us. Oh my god, I can't wait to do my 100 series. It's on my vision board because this year I would really love to do my 100 series. I don't know where. You can see the 100 right there. There's a picture somewhere over here too. I want to do my analysis series on the 100 because I just love that show. I could talk about it all day, every day. The amount of things I've learned from that show could save humanity if people watched it and really learned from it, digested the information, and took what was taught and the things that were demonstrated as reality, because it is such a great representation of what our reality is and what could happen with your choices and with what you decide to follow and intentions. And like, I really recommend that show if you guys want to watch anything that is kind of in parallel to what our reality is and what it's turning into. And then eventually humans did ascend, except for Clark, because she killed someone during the final judgment, and I don't think that's ever been done in the ever. So they did not let her ascend, which I guess that's kind of valid, but Homegirl went through so much to not even be able to ascend like everybody else. I love that show so much. Oh my god, I want to rewatch it so bad, but right now I'm hyperfixating obviously on all this new information and expanding my knowledge. I literally could info dump about, and I will. This is what this video is basically all just going to be about, because I am just info dumping about all of these very fascinating concepts I've been learning, and they just make so much sense, guys. Like, it makes sense. It won't make sense if you have other core beliefs that are stopping you from being able to accept this information. You have to work through those things first. You have to break down these core beliefs that were wrongfully taught into you, so that way you can kind of access new information and digest it in a more productive way. If you have information that's blocking, you're not going to be able to learn something new. Same thing with insecurity. I use this example with cognitive dissonance with borderline personality disorder. We have a core belief that we are a burden, we are unworthy, we are insecure, we're ugly, we're just everything that's wrong in the world, right? We are not worthy of life. That is a core belief. That is a wrongful core belief. So anytime someone tries to tell us like, hey, actually we love you, hey, you're actually amazing, hey, you actually provide value to this world, you're important, you have importance, because of the cognitive dissonance that a borderline would experience, they would not accept that new information because they have to break down this core belief before they're able to access and digest this new information. So I'm just very thankful for myself, because I've always believed in myself and I've always trusted myself, and I feel like that's what's given me this experience to expand my own consciousness, because I had to break down my own conditioning of my borderline personality disorder and the things I was taught in childhood before I was able to get to this stage in my life where I'm able to educate myself and broaden my perspectives and my knowledge. That way I can actually help other people and try to spread positivity, because you can't spread positivity if all you experience is negativity. You emit what you feel. Your thoughts and everything have energy, and that's what gets emitted into the universe and reality around us. So it's just such a complex subject, and it's such a complex concept for a human to wrap their head around, especially whenever they have core beliefs blocking the new information. But it is extremely fascinating. I finally feel understood. I finally feel like I'm not dumb. I feel like I'm just in a society where I have to be awake before society's awake, so that way I can help progress society whenever they finally figure out all these lies, because it's going to be a huge shock for a lot of people. A lot of people are going to have their entire world flipped upside down. They're going to grieve a lot. They're going to go through so much grief, and I know I'm going to go through so much grief. We're finally going to be able to break down these illogical concepts and this control and manipulation that has been run by our society since humans, Homo sapiens, were created and manipulated by the Anunnaki and all that kind of stuff. So I'm so happy to be alive right now. Like, I literally, dude, you have no idea. I've sensed for such a long time that at first I thought it was just a basic human transition. I was like, isn't it so cool that we're humans that get to live through pre-modern technology and then post-modern technology? My soul knew what she was doing. Like, go, homegirl. I'm cheering you on. She knew what she was doing, and I knew that I was strong enough to go through this and be able to wake up and be able to trust myself, because a lot of people, they are taught not to trust themselves, because if you trust yourself inside, other external factors cannot manipulate or control you. So they teach you that you cannot trust yourself, and it's just, there's so much to it. Obviously, I'm going to be talking about it for probably the next few weeks. This is my new hyperfixation. I do hope that I can still help a lot of people with BPD, because I'm very knowledgeable about borderline personality disorder and mental health in general. I feel like I'm very knowledgeable about the concepts of just mental health and how trauma affects us and how our experiences affect us and how we can kind of get better from that, since I've done it myself and I've learned all of it myself, because again, knowledge is power. The more you learn, the more you're able to help yourself and others. I'm going to continue watching this video because it is so fascinating, and my TV is turning off. I'm so excited for the challenges to come. I'm so excited for all that I'm going to get to learn and experience. And I can't wait to do my 100 analysis series, because that's going to be a really good series. I'm very excited to info dump about the 100. I already did all of my notes on the first season, but then I never ended up filming it. So I'm probably going to rewatch it and restart. Okay, I'm going to shut the fuck up. I've literally been rambling so much, and I hope this video made sense, because I just sometimes ramble. And I know my last few clips probably didn't make sense last night, since I was so tired last night. I can't really formulate thoughts whenever I'm in that state of exhaustion.
I did not wake up in a good state. I got high for the first time in 2 weeks yesterday, and I smoked so much not even knowing, because it's Delta, so it was legal. I bought it from a smoke shop. Smoke shops sell flour now, which is very interesting. I love it though. But I woke up and I'm just so tired, so hungover, because I smoked as much as I would with weed, but I wasn't really getting as high as I was, because I forgot that it's Delta. So I just kept smoking it, and now I'm dealing with the after effects. I don't even get that high. There's a couple things I want to talk about right now, but to start, I am extremely tired. I'm supposed to go hang out with Gray today because she's back in Georgia, but I'm just in such a state of mind where it's like I have so many things to do, which is so many things. But my autism is like, you don't want to do any of that, and my ADHD is like, there's not enough of a reward to do that. So they're both working together with executive dysfunction and pathological demand avoidance, and they're like, you're not doing anything. You're actually gonna lay in bed and be exhausted all day and feel like you don't have the capacity and brain power that you want. I woke up and chose violence. I instantly started making videos about religion whenever I woke up. I'm just so passionate about it. I want to talk about it all day, every day, show so many of these inconsistencies and contradictions that are just so obvious to me, but they're so oblivious to other people. But another thing I wanted to talk about is my ego. I feel like recently I've been having like an ego return or something. I don't like being self-aware and still having flaws, because I know my intentions, but then I still make mistakes, and I'm like, the fuck? Like, I've been trying to incorporate the idea of being more compassionate and understanding, other than just judgmental and having resentment towards people who maybe indulge in religion and continue the cycle of abuse that's been happening for 2,000 years, because they're unconscious to anything that's happening in this world. They're exactly what a human is. Very, very ignorant. That's what we're here to be. We're literally humans. We're here to be at an ignorant place. And then if you're strong enough as a soul to build your way back up to who you were. I might be failing right now because of my fucking influence of my ego. I want to judge others because they don't understand things the way I understand them. That's not healthy. That is not an efficient way to educate either. Do not ridicule, educate. And I feel like I've been doing so much ridiculing. I've been making these videos being like, hey guys, look at these inconsistencies within Christianity and the Bible and religion. But I do it in a tone that is just almost at the expense of Christians, which also for many, many years, they've had their feelings protected. For 2,000 years, they've been the ones that's been validated in society. So I guess I'm really just giving them a taste of their own medicine for once, when they're the ones being taught that they don't know the truth. I don't want to make people feel stupid, because I need to hold the understanding that they're not stupid. They've been manipulated. They've been curated in a way that they are slaves and puppets for other people. They aren't aware of it though. If they have good intentions, they think they're doing good. They think they're helping. They want to help other people, and they think that this is the path to do so, when they're really just encouraging years of us being slaves, puppets, and ignorant. But they have good intentions. So I just need to remember that intention really does matter, and that doesn't just apply to me. Sometimes I wish people would understand my intentions. My intentions aren't to just say that religious people are hateful. It's just to show the inconsistencies. But some people don't see my intentions. They only see what I say, which can show and come off as very judgmental. But it is judgmental because I am judging these beliefs. I just don't want to judge the people. I want to judge the beliefs. I want to judge the religion. So I feel like my ego has kind of been getting in the way, and I really want to work on that, because it hasn't made me feel fulfilled. Whenever you don't feel fulfilled, it most times has to to do with your ego or a core belief that is wrong and harmful. I did want to actually talk about my mania and how I feel like I've been in a manic episode, although this is not a really great representation of manic energy. Are you sure you're manic? I don't even know if I'm manic. I have BPD, so I've been having very roller coaster days. I have ups and downs, and I can't control them. They don't just go away. So it's really confusing to know what kind of episode you're in. But recently I've been feeling very, very light, very happy. So I do know I'm in a manic state because I recognize the signs. I've been bipolar basically my entire life. I've gotten to the point where I'm educated enough that I can kind of recognize and be self-aware of my own behaviors, but that doesn't change that I can't control them. When I'm manic, I really have to be extra aware of the things I'm learning and the information I'm processing because I don't want to see it in a diluted sense. I do not want to be in a compromised mindset and educate myself in the wrong ways, because that happened for like a day or two where I was literally in such a state of fear because I thought the world was going to end. I've gotten past that, obviously. I've really tried to take myself out of that. I recognized my behavior. I recognized I was in fear, and I was like, wait, there's an inconsistency in what I believe in and what I'm feeling right now. Let me think about it, But another thing that really frustrates me is that whenever I'm manic, because I am mentally ill, I just know that another challenge and struggle I'm going to have continuing in life is that I'm going to be belittled myself because of my own limitations. So again, everything I talk about does not exempt me from it. We all have limitations. It's kind of like a reflective mirror where I sometimes judge people because of their limitations. Why don't you think about your religion? Why don't you question yourself? But I think it's because they've been limited by the conditioning they've gone under, and I'm limited by a disorder I have, a mental health condition. We all have limitations and things that we have to overcome, and it kind of just teaches me that, okay, maybe try to be a little bit more understanding of other people's limitations. Try to just be understanding and educate the best you can, because it reflects back onto me. Everything that we do reflects back onto us. So I just really hate when people belittle me or diminish my accomplishments or diminish my healing or diminish my mindset because, oh, you're manic though, you're in a sick state. And it's like, no, mania, well, yes, it obviously is sick, do not get me wrong, but mania, the way I see my bipolar is that it amplifies what's already there. If you're manic, you kind of amplify the behaviors you already have. So if you're a very insecure person, very agitated, very angry, that's all going to get amplified. But for me, especially since I'm so self-aware, I just become very goal directed. I cannot sleep. I need to keep going. I'm very talkative. I can talk for hours. I get louder. I get agitated more often. It's not like I go into a manic state and I go into this extremely psychotic state, because I understand the complexities of reality. I do not go in those diluted states nearly as long as I used to, or as much as I used to. I'm able to be self-aware and be like, okay, Stephanie, is this a good representation of what you believe? And is this a reality that is objective? Is this objective reality or something that you're creating in your head? So I'm very, very good at acknowledging those kind of things, because I think I'm a very intelligent person, but I think because of all the conditioning in society, I just really need to unlearn a lot of things that I was taught, and I need to trust myself a lot more and still be aware I am a sick person. I have a lot of limitations. I have a lot of conditions, but I really need to work on not taking other people's assumptions as valid whenever someone comments under my video pointing out the fact that I'm manic and that it's obvious, because I know it's going to be obvious. I have bipolar disorder, it's going to be a part of my reality for a while. I do believe that in the future we'll have cure to these diseases and conditions. Like, wholeheartedly believe that. I know that in the future I will no longer have asthma. I'm not going to have these conditions, and even if I do, that's fine, but I'm manifesting a future where I know that we're going to have the technology and finally the humanity that we're actually going to be able to have healthcare and help each other, and not just have everything in a state of profit and corruption and manipulation in the way that it is today. So I see that in my future. I'm very, very thankful for that, but I'm still in the condition I am right now, and I really need to remind myself of that, because even the other day, whenever I was slipping into that kind of diluted state where I was like, well, I'm just a soul, I'm not even human anymore, I almost convinced myself that I no longer have any of the problems I have, and that I'm completely cured, and that it's all a matter of what we believe, which is true. We do manifest our reality. The more I tell myself that I'm going to be a healthy person, I do believe that's going to manifest into my reality, but there's just so many layers of complexity to this, so I'm just trying to it's only Tuesday in the week, and I've already recorded so much for this episode. Hopefully editing won't be too hard. Editing is very difficult for me because, again, I have ADHD, and the idea of sitting at a desk and doing one task for multiple hours at a time is just, I'd rather die, bro. Because ADHD is disordered attention. We can hyperfixate on something for hours and hours as long as we're interested in it. Our attention gets straight into that topic. But then if there's something we don't want to do, our attention is not going to grasp onto this. We're not going to give our attention to this thing that does not motivate us or encourage us to do it. So super slay. That's great. I know I'll feel a hell of a lot better once I get these these tasks done. The biggest task that's holding me back right now is editing these videos, actually, the outliving my diagnosis episodes, because it takes hours. I have so much footage to go through and edit through. I'm very passionate about it in the sense that I want to do it. I'm very proud of the end results. I love posting them for myself, but the effort that goes into it, well, no, I wouldn't say effort, because I don't mind putting effort into the things I love. The tedious nature of it, the sitting in bed for hours while staring at a screen and tediously going through every clip and making sure I'm not having too many filler words that stay in the video, because I use so many filler words. It's so annoying. It's a very, very bad habit I have. And recently my episodes have been getting posted in the middle of the week, towards the end of the week. And it's like, Stephanie, these videos are supposed to be posted on like Monday. You're supposed to edit it on Sunday. But I just never have the urge to be like, oh yeah, I'm so excited to sit down and edit this video for like the next 5 hours. I'm so excited. I told my best friend Sarah, Riley, Sharia, and Miss Pam that I'm moving back home, or back to Florida. I really miss my family and I just want to be around them a lot more, and I'm really excited to go. Obviously, yes, another big reason I want to go is because I want to be surrounded by people who understand me and think the same way as me. That's not the only reason, so I didn't really tell them, oh yeah, I'm leaving because I want to be surrounded by people who want to listen to me talk. That's something I saw on Instagram, actually. Let's talk about this for a moment. I saw a comment on Instagram that was like, if they don't want to listen to your voice, that's not a real friend. And it really made me think. I was like, nobody likes to listen to what I have to say, because it goes completely against everything they've ever known about themselves in the world. So they could never, ever, ever perceive me as an intelligent being, because that would go against everything they've always believed. So my friends, not only do they not want to hear what I have to say, but they can't ever accept it or see me for who I am, because that would go against everything they've ever known. And obviously, I don't know. I don't want to make assumptions for what they're thinking, because I don't know what my friends are thinking. I can only think about what they might be. So these are assumptions, but the way I see it is that this is kind of how it's playing out. They don't have the same interest and don't want to hear about my interest, because again, it goes against who they are. And that really opened my eyes, and I was like, wow, this is something I really have to do. I love these girls like my sisters. They are like my sisters. They do their own thing. They live their own life, and you have to live your life. And I feel like that's the stage I'm in right now, where I'm just so confident in that decision, where it's like, I'm going somewhere where I'm admired. I'm going somewhere where they want to listen to what I have to say. They hear me out. They challenge me. They question me. That's all I ever want. I'm not challenged here. I'm not questioned. I feel the energy of the whispers behind my back and everybody talking about my videos and not talking directly to me unless they bombard me. But, I just feel that energy. I could be wrong. Again, I know that's just assumption. That does not mean I'm directly, that's the truth. What I'm feeling is the truth. No, I just kind of feel that energy, and I don't really want to be surrounded by this, So I'm just really excited for this next journey and be able to be in nature, go anywhere I want, anytime I want. And I'm going to be around people who love to listen to what I have to say. I don't have to just talk to a camera. I'm going to be able to actually interact with humans who want to learn and evolve with me, because I'm not always right. If they question me or challenge me, I might be able to grow as a person and change my perspectives, but I don't feel like I have that luxury here. I'm surrounded by so much love. I love these people, these families. I love this cul-de-sac. I just don't feel I'll never be seen in the way that I am. Their perception will always be twisted by their core beliefs and by their own perception, which is life. That's their own path, bro. That's not even bad. I'm not saying this in a sense of like, that's bad. That's not for me. That is not for me. I'm in my hobo era right now. I've worn this shirt in every single clip so far, and it's only been like 2 days. I'm literally in the same wardrobe in every single clip. It's almost as if they're all the same clip, guys. But I'm in my hobo era, and I'm excited to finally go get my eyebrows done and fix up my hair and everything in the next week. I'm gonna wait about a week. I'm gonna wait until April 1st, April 2nd to get my eyebrows and such done, because I want to be able to go in the solar eclipse and have on fleek eyebrows and no mustache. I want my hair to be nice and voluminous and colorful. I don't want to do that quite yet, because I know that my eyebrows will grow out in the next 2 weeks, and I don't want to be at the solar eclipse and already have bushy eyebrows again. So I hate the stages where you have to wait to pamper yourself. Well, you don't have to. I'm choosing to wait to pamper myself, because I know that I want to be pampered for a certain event, so you just kind of wait for it. I can't wait to tell my dad that Star Wars is our reality. He's going to be so happy. He's not going to believe me, but he'll entertain it probably. Him and Becca will probably be like, okay. But I'm gonna be like, Dad, did you know that the universe, life is actually Star Wars? Did you know that? And he's gonna be like, oh, no, it's not. We all have the force within us. We just have to awaken it. Let's go ahead and do affirmations together. So I'm gonna say an affirmation, and I want you to repeat it after me to yourself, okay? All right, let's start. I am worthy of wealth and success. I am valuable and deserve happiness. I trust myself to know what is best for me. Me awkwardly looking at you. Are you saying it? You better be. I add value to the world. I release self-criticism and choose to love myself. My strength is greater than my fears. I bring light to those around me. I am co-creating with the universe. I embrace my insecurities because they are what make me unique. I am full of potential and I have so much to offer to the world. I feel confident using my voice and being bold. I discover new levels of inner confidence every day. I am aligned with my inner self. Slay, we did it! Thank you for doing affirmations with me. I'm going to shut the fuck up.
In the podcast that I'm watching, I was watching it yesterday, so it's actually still one of the same ones I was watching yesterday. I just fell asleep, so now I'm finishing it. But they literally just said about how they don't want to demonize religion because religion is for those who are on a more dense level of consciousness. And I know this is something I know. I just have been struggling so much with my own opposition towards religion, my own dislike against religion, because religion literally does so much harm in our current world. But I do think that I am almost demonizing religion when I shouldn't demonize it. I just need to spread awareness for the harm that it causes, the truth of the harm that it causes, but not demonize it in a sense where I'm demonizing the people under religion, which I think can come off in some of my videos, not intentionally, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't. So I really like that they said that, because I was like, damn, my ego was like, fuck, I've been proven wrong. But I'm totally susceptible to it. It's just really frustrating because I'm disappointed in myself that I almost can't hold this understanding sometimes. I need to stop demonizing it, but rather just spreading awareness. I do think this is my purpose. I'm not just going to stop talking about religion because it serves a purpose. Everything serves a purpose, even the negativity, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't speak out against negativity, right? The purpose of negativity is to point out the light. So I feel like I need to even just in my head mentally stop demonizing religion. That way it can externalize in that sense, because internally, if I'm demonizing religion, I'm going to externally demonize religion. Even though I know that's not what I want to do, it is what I'm doing because I just have such a passion and discontentment towards religion. So I really appreciate them saying that in this podcast, because I think it really helps open my eyes even more, because there are things I understand personally, but it really helps whenever I have external people helping me learn and it's not just all happening in my mind. I need to stop demonizing religion. I don't like it. I'm going to continue to speak out against it, but I don't need to demonize it. I need to just spread awareness. The same way with BPD. I don't demonize mental health conditions because I'm aware that demonizing is not an efficient way of spreading education. So I just need to apply that knowledge to this subject as well. My new hyperfixation, I need to kind of wrap that in that little bow as well. I did borderline personality disorder awareness, mental health awareness, cluster B awareness for about 3 years. It was my passion for 3 years. It still is a bit of a passion, but I feel like my passion is more directed towards the awareness of a religion now. I just need to kind of pull some of the lessons I learned from that and incorporate it into this new lesson of my life and this new journey of my life, and stop shaming myself, because now I'm aware. I truly am aware of the ego I'm experiencing. I'm truly aware of my behaviors, because before I was unself-aware. I was like, oh, am I being condescending? Am I being too hateful? Am I being too harsh? In some ways, yes. And I now need to really put effort into changing those behaviors. Again, not stop speaking out about religion and stop telling the truth in the sense of what it can come off as and the harm it can do, but I need to stop reacting so harshly to people, rather just be confident in what I understand and be confident in the education that I want to spread and help other people understand as well, because everything has a purpose.
Bro, I did all of the deconditioning on my own. I did that myself. I did all of that. I pursued all of it. The mental health, right? Nobody ever got me help. Everybody called me lazy, but I still got help. I realized I needed help because I had educated myself. Well, I started to, and then I realized it, and it's documented. I talk about it. Now in this next phase in my life, I'm also documenting me deconditioning myself. I literally don't give myself enough credit. I've done so much work. I've done so much for myself. I've worked really hard, and it's paying off. And that's a good reality to have. I was always so hard on myself, and I never thought I was gonna do good. But in the process of me having that mindset back then, whenever I was really struggling with having BPD, because BPD is like all of your self thoughts are negative. Like, you hate yourself. You hate yourself so much, and you think you deserve the worst out of everything, right? But even during that time, I still pursued help on my own. Even when other people didn't listen to me and other doctors, I always fought, and I've always been a fighter. I've always fought for myself. This isn't something new. This isn't something that just came about inside of me.
I don't want to be like one of those people who like learn what a light worker is or a starseed or whatever the fuck, and they're just like, oh yeah, I'm one of those, because I don't want to be like that. Like, I don't want to just assume that I am, but like there's no way I went through that much abuse, that much misunderstanding, that much just conditioning in general, and I still by myself, with support, I was loved by some people obviously, but I did it fucking myself from inside of me. I always had the pursuit and the awareness of that and wanting to do that. I think that's really amazing. I don't know. That's just a thought I had, and I was like, oh my God, what a revelation. I've done so much for myself. I've worked so fucking hard, and I'm sitting here in the rain. I also challenged myself to go out in my socks wet because I have really bad sensory issues, but I'm enjoying it kind of. I want to take them off, but I know that if I take them off, it'll be like a second layer of the challenge, because then it's going to be my barefoot against the wet ground. But now my body's fully wet because my brain's weird, so I like it whenever I'm losing train of my thought. Oh my God, I'm just realizing how autistic I am. Oh my God. No, in the sense of like, I actually have autism. Whenever I'm high, I feel like every masking tool that I have just drops. And when I hear myself, I get really self-conscious because I'm like, oh, you sound so... You need to suppress that. It shouldn't sound like that. Sorry. I'm high. I'm going through the entire range of the human emotions. What I was talking about though is that if I took off my socks, then I would be on the ground barefoot, and that'd be even harder because that would be even more sensory issues. So I'm gonna stick to the socks for now, but maybe another time. I really am just so happy for all of my hard work. That's the root of all of this that I was making this video for. I still have things I need to work on. I'm no perfect person. I still struggle with a lot. You know, clearly I struggle with my mental health and stuff sometimes, and I'm so proud that I'm breaking down these behaviors I've had all my life. Like, people have this idea, just because your life has always been a certain way does not mean it has to continue that way. Oh, religion has been around for like 2,000 years. It's not going away. Just because something has been around for 2,000 years doesn't mean it doesn't go away. They abolished slavery thousands of years after it was created. Oh, we shouldn't even try because, oh, it just won't go away. That doesn't make sense. That's just not logic in my brain. But I don't think the society runs off of logic. See, I hear it. This is the condescending tone. Like, oh, I know something society doesn't, but like I do. So like, isn't that the truth? So condescending tone doesn't mean I'm not wrong, but I shouldn't be saying it in that way. That makes sense. Anytime I ask questions or think about something, I give myself the answer. Isn't that cool? It's not like a separate person. You know, the first disorder I ever looked into is dissociative identity disorder. And I was so interested. One of my favorite YouTube channels was Dissociated. I loved their videos so much. But I love this. It's like a gift. To me, I see this as a gift because it benefits me. I benefit from this. It's not something I'm scared of or anything. I literally just ask something or think about something and I'm like given the answer. That's cool. That's a good thing. My whole phone is so wet. I have Chipotle inside, so I'm gonna go ahead and go back inside. I might start recording again later if I watch a video and have thoughts or want to say something per usual, like I always do, because I like to yap. All right, I will see you guys in the next clip. Okay, so I'm at Buffalo Wild Wings right now. I sold my mini fridge and my jewelry holder to this really amazing girl. She was so sweet. She got out of her car and was like, can I give you a hug? And I was like, yeah, of course. And then I said, there you go. Who the fuck says there you go after giving someone a hug? So I made sure to give them a second hug afterwards because I was like, I do not like how I said that, because I was very happy to give a hug. I was very happy to have a hug. That was so unexpected, but I'm just very thankful that I feel like in my reality, I'm starting to manifest people that I'm interacting with that are significantly more positive, significantly more loving, and I'm just really happy about this world. I'm really happy for how things are going to start looking up, because every single time I meet another kind person and someone who is just so effortlessly nice, it just gives me so much hope for this world. And I already have so much hope, but like, it just continues growing. I got an all-American burger and fries. It was really good. I'm gonna get the box and check soon so that way I can head over. What I think I'm gonna do next is North Point Mall is right behind me. I'm not typically in Alpharetta, but North Point is here. It's a big mall, and I'm thinking about going and giving out free hugs because I saw this guy on TikTok giving out free hugs to people at Walmart, and I was like, I want to do that. I want to try to spread positivity in that sense, but I've just been really anxious because I don't want to go to a mall alone and be like, everybody want a hug? I don't know how I would go at that, but I think I'm gonna do it because I want to push past my anxiety. I want my actions to reflect the kind of world I want, and I cannot let my anxiety get in the way. I can't let my anxiety start getting in the way now. I've always challenged my anxiety, and I've always worked on my anxiety as much as I can, I used to love roller coasters, I still do, but I used to go on roller coasters effortlessly. I would go on a roller coaster, no worry in the world, but as I grew up, my body developed anxiety. I don't have anxiety, my consciousness doesn't have anxiety, but my body does. So I would like physiologically be freaking out, and I'd be like, oh my god, no, I can't do this. Like, I have initiative anxiety, so like getting on the roller coaster and the start of the roller coaster is the scariest part, but I always force myself to keep doing it because I'm not gonna let this anxiety win. I don't give a fuck. It's not winning. I love roller coasters. I love the exhilaration and the thrill. I would literally be having a panic attack being like, oh my god, it's about to start. Like, I don't know what to do, but I was like, I have to do this for myself and it's gonna be fun. So same thing with the mall. I have to push myself. I just have to do it. I don't even have to give a hug to every single person. Even if I'm in there for 5 minutes and I give a hug to 3 people.
Still doing okay?
Yes, could I actually please get a box and a lid for the sauce and the check? Thank you so much.
I'm gonna do it. I feel like I just need to push myself, so that's what I'm gonna be doing next.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Packing up my food.
I will talk to you later, and Gray is going to be seen soon because I'm going to Gray's house tonight, which I'm so excited for, so see you then! I didn't talk about this in the last clip, and I kind of want to talk about it for a moment. So recently I've been feeling really insecure, and I've been feeling like everybody's assuming that I sound crazy because I'm manic. I think the reason I'm so insecure about it is because there's some truth to it. So I project that onto other people as if they're being disrespectful for calling me out for having very strong beliefs right now while I'm manic. While I do think that what I'm learning about is the truth, I think that I get stuck in this kind of deluded mindset. This doesn't mean that I'm completely discredited, but I do think that there's some truth to the fact that whenever I'm manic, I'm not in the most rational mind, so I'm able to digest information much easier than I would if I were in baseline. Whenever I'm in baseline, I'm reasonably skeptic. I do a lot of critical thinking, which I do now as well. I just feel like I have to do a lot more thinking. I have to put effort into being self-aware because it's easy for me to slip out of awareness because I'm manic, and I just want to make sure that I'm being very aware of how I'm coming off, how I'm talking, what kind of behaviors am I exhibiting, because I am bipolar. This is a condition that I have to struggle with. Again, I really have done hours I've done so many hours of learning about what I'm talking about. So this does not mean any kind of way being like, anything I talk about isn't real because I'm in psychosis. No, you can think that. I genuinely don't care if you think that. But I needed to myself accept that I was very insecure about people seeing me as manic because there's truth to the thought that people might see me as irrational, because in some cases I might be a little irrational because I was trying to explain an info dump to my sister Victoria about everything I've been learning about the universe last night, and I could not articulate my words at all. I literally just sound so crazy, so psychotic. Our reality is crazier than you think, but I don't think this is the state I should be in to be explaining this to other people, because other people will only see my manic side, and I know that after I'm out of the manic episode, I'll be able to reevaluate everything I'm thinking and make sure that is all valid. For me, manic episodes have been what saved my life. I can't function. I cannot function in this society. I am not built for this society. But during my manic episodes is the time whenever I have energy, motivation. So I've been getting a lot of things done. I've been trying to just enjoy my life, raise my vibrational frequency regardless, because I have an ample amount of energy and happiness and contentment right now. I'm gonna fucking utilize it. The fuck? Just wanted to make that little note because I'm about to go into the mall, face my fears. That was an unsuccessful attempt. I asked maybe like 3 people. The mall was empty. I'm sure you just saw the last clip. The mall is empty. There's like, yes, sure, a couple people straggling along, but that big of a mall being that empty, it really just makes you wonder, like, what the fuck is happening? We're all isolated as humans. We all can't afford anything. Literally everyone I saw though was old. Good majority of everyone was old. There were no teenagers, no kids. A lot of shops were closed. The first person I asked was just casually walking past, and I was like, hey, I'm giving out free hugs. Would you like a free hug? She was like, no, thank you. She was so kind about it, so nice about it. And then I asked 2 other people in a different store. My back's itching. I asked 2 different people in a store, and I was like, it's okay, you could say no. It's 100% okay. And the girl just walked away. I was like, I said you can say no, but I understand it's awkward. And then the guy was like, no, thank you. And I was like, okay, you guys have a great day. And then I got the fuck out. I was just like, damn, there's nobody here. I don't really have opportunity to just ask people my age. So yeah, first attempt to do something like that was a little unsuccessful, but it gave me a good idea of what it feels like. I feel like whenever I do it with Gray, it'll be a lot easier if that's something Gray is up to doing. Maybe in a more crowded place we'll have better results because more people might be wanting hugs, but also like I'm happy that they said no. I actually really respect that they were like, no thank you. I'm gonna drive home, get ready to drive to Gray's house, and just have a good night because I want to have a good night. But I attempted, and I'm proud of myself for trying. That does not mean I don't have to try again. There are no losses, there are only lessons. I did not take an L, I took a lesson. Alright, I'm gonna drive home. I'm gonna shut up now. I always forget to record with Gray whenever we're outside, so I just say hi.
Hi!
That's really all I wanted to do. Do you have anything to say to the world?
I love you. Everything's gonna be okay. Mwah.
Period. Pumpkin surprised me. It's Pumpkin. Pumpkin was on the stairs whenever I got home. She's getting, oh look how white your fur is. She wants my food. She wants my Panda Express so bad. Oh, sweetheart. Say bye, Pumpkin. I do not look like a pretty princess right now, so bear with me, but I wanted to share my thoughts. So I've just been racking my brain, thinking per usual, which is another thought I want to divert on eventually. But I've been thinking about not only how I can better my behavior, how I can better understand how the world works and stop reacting so harshly to ignorant people or ignorant behaviors or my own behaviors that I need to work on. How do I not react, but understand and digest and process and work through it, yada, 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 mental health stuff, you know? But then I was thinking about the concept of everything because polarity is important. Earth has polarity. We have light and darkness, the sun and the moon, yin and yang. And I was thinking, how can I better imagine it in my head so that way my behavior better reflects how I want it to, how I actually feel. And then I thought about the movie, The School for Good and Evil, such a good movie. I've watched it multiple times. Maybe I should even watch it tonight. It's such a good movie. And I like that movie because it's a good representation of evil and good being a balance in the world and how both play their parts. I feel like that helps me better understand it, and then I got it. In my head, I was like, okay, I have to see it like how it is. Life is like a movie. We are playing a play. We're characters. And some of us sign up to be the heroes. Some of us choose to be the villains. Some of us choose to be bystanders. We all choose a role that we get to play here on Earth. We get to live out this cool experience. And it's literally just like a movie. Think of the way you're watching a movie on your TV. How does it look so perfect? All the characters have a purpose. There's a storyline. There's always a lesson to learn in the movie if you're paying attention. And life is just like that. That's going to help me understand the opposite side a lot better because I don't want to be reactive towards ignorant people. I want to do better about being compassionate, understanding, non-judgmental. And I feel like I have to remember we're all playing characters. We all have our part and we all equally matter. We all equally have a purpose. So I just have to remember that even the darkness has its purpose. We have to thank the darkness for doing its part because without the darkness, without the villains, the heroes wouldn't be able to save the day or the heroes wouldn't be able to help the people because life is pretty meaningless without this polarity and without this learning experience. In my head, I was like, I need to start thinking of it as a sickness. Same way I think about it with BPD or cluster B disorders in general. I'm very compassionate and understanding because I understand BPD to the core. I understand everything about BPD, right? So why wouldn't I be compassionate when I understand? And I feel like I have to kind of use that logic for ignorance as well. Ignorance is something that is also brainwashed. It is something that is also conditioned into a person, just like someone with BPD. It is our responsibility eventually, even after everything we went through, it's our responsibility to get better, but that doesn't mean people are not worthy of that compassion and understanding, even though they might be struggling. I think I just have to hold that understanding for ignorant people because I was brainwashed. I was brainwashed in a couple of different ways, especially with my BPD, right? So I just need to really be more compassionate towards those who are brainwashed and just not aware of it because I'm so aware of the fact that they're not aware of it, and I'm aware of the fact that if they are aware of it, they still choose to not educate themselves or even broaden their perspectives. And that's where I think my anger and resentment tends to stem from because I just wish people would understand, and I just really don't like how this society affects everyone and everybody lives in their own bubble, not even realizing how their actions affect other people. And I just can't stand ignorance. I don't have patience for it. I think I'm going to be able to develop a lot more patience for it because I'm going to be able to be a lot more compassionate and a lot more understanding because it's a sickness. It's a sickness. I also wanted to share a thought about how Gray brought to my awareness. At first, I was a little bit hesitant to think about about it or hesitant to accept it. I was hesitant to really think about how this could apply to me, but Gray has been talking a lot about mindfulness and how she's gotten really well at staying in love, and she was helping me think about that a little bit more because I love to think. I am wired to think. I enjoy it. It is my passion. I find comfort in thinking because I taught myself how to properly think. I also deconditioned a lot of those old thinking patterns, right? So I finally learned how to do it in an efficient way, and that way is beneficial to me. But there are sometimes thoughts that don't serve me, thoughts that are stemmed in resentment and only bring me negative energy and only make me ruminate on things that I can't even control. I start to obsess over things that I can't control yet, but I will be able to in a week. So I start to get really in my head about how I'm going to say certain things or what actions I'm going to take for certain areas of my life, because Gray brought it to my attention that maybe I need to be a little bit more mindful. She didn't say it in those many words. Even if she did, I'd appreciate it, but I want to work on being a lot more mindful, having more of a filter to my thoughts, because I love my thoughts. I love to entertain every thought, but I tend to have a habit of entertaining thoughts I might not even want to entertain just because it's just a habit. I'm going to start meditating outside every night. So I did that with Gray. Gray and I meditated for about 20 minutes together. Whenever we first started meditating together, I really could not get into it. My brain wouldn't shut off. I couldn't stop hearing the narration in my head, and I was like, shut up. I hear that. Shut up. No, stop saying that. Stop saying something. Just be quiet. Do you hear me still? No! Love my built-in best friend, but sweetheart, you have to shut up sometimes. But eventually I got into it, and I really loved how it made me feel, because I do like to meditate. I've been doing a lot more recently, but the way she did it, she puts on music and frequency, and that helped me so much. It was so enjoyable, and I'm going to start incorporating it into my normal routine because I really enjoyed it. I felt so at peace, and I felt like the frequency really set the mood on how I wanted to feel. Thank you, Gray, for challenging my thoughts, and also thank you, me, for challenging my idea of the polarity that's on Earth. I think now that I'm kind of more aware and understanding of everything plays a part. Let's even use religion as an example. Religion is the villain. I want to be part of the heroes. Each part is equally as important, and they both play a role in this game we call life. So holding that compassion, holding understanding for those who might struggle once truths and stuff start coming out slowly, because I don't think everyone's just going to know the truth one day. One day everything's going to fall apart, maybe, but I think slowly throughout the years the truth is going to start unraveling, and a lot of people are going to have to start really questioning themselves whether or not they want to. I feel like some people will get so stuck in their fear or so stuck in who they identify themselves as, even though it might not be a true representation of who they are inside, that they'll struggle with the new changes in the world and how the world is healing. And healing takes a lot of grief and negative emotions, actually, because healing, you have to expel all of the negativity that has been stored in your body. We all have to go through a process of expelling all negativity and all of the trauma in our body, and I have a long way to go. I still have a lot of things I struggle with. Right now I'm manic, so I do know for sure that I don't experience a lot of the symptoms I typically experience, but I know those symptoms will come back eventually. Certain things like my bipolar depression. Again, I have a much better mindset during my bipolar depression now, but I'm gonna struggle again. I'm gonna have times where my BPD elevates again. I'm gonna have times where I'm not gonna be the best representation of myself, and I'm gonna try my best to obviously stay as baseline as possible, but I just really have to take into account that I still struggle with a lot of things. But healing just requires a lot of hurt, because pain is a big part of life. Pain is where the lessons are. If you don't feel any pain in your life, what did you really learn? If you're here to enjoy, hey, I'm not gonna get in your way. Run through fields, go on walks, enjoy your life. But for people like me, I go through a lot of trauma because I know there's a lot of lessons I'm meant to learn and a lot of help I'm meant to give to the world. I've always loved serving others. I've just always done it in my own way. Like, I can't be told how to do it. I can't be told where to go. I can't do it within a church and all that kind of stuff. I like to give naturally. I like to give compliments. I like to help raise the vibrational frequency of not only myself but others. Sorry, back to healing. Healing just requires pain. Life is pain, and if you deny yourself the pain of life, then you're going to experience more pain long term. Everybody's on their own journey. Everybody's on their own path. Everybody's learning their own lessons. It's important for me to keep my compassion and to keep my understanding, to lack judgment of all things. You lack that. Lack it. Mindfulness, compassion, understanding. Those are the 3 things I think I really want to work on for the next week. Tomorrow is another day. Tomorrow I wake up and start editing my YouTube video again. My last video that's going to be posted basically a couple days within this one is going to be posted a week late because I've been procrastinating editing it. The idea of editing has been so debilitating. I will see you guys in the next clip. I'm in that awkward stage after taking an edible where I am extremely nauseous and have a headache. but I'm gonna be a fighter and I'm gonna fight through. Today we are trying the Cantina chicken menu from Taco Bell. This is not sponsored, but if you want to, you can. I also will be progressively getting more high through this and hopefully not as nauseous. But first, we're starting with a Crunchwrap Supreme as an appetizer because I just am really hungry. I just worked. I did a couple Uber orders, so now I'm eating my dinner, but I'm probably not gonna eat all of this, but we'll see what ends up happening, especially since I'll be high, you know? I don't know why I chose tonight to film this video because I am so tired. I don't even know what I'm supposed to talk about in this video. Okay, first we'll try the bowl because there's a bowl. I'm gonna shake it because I feel like you should. Open this bad boy up. I mixed up the bowl a decent amount. Time to give it a try. Okay. Actually pretty good. This is not bad at all. We have something else. This is what it looks like. I don't know what any of them are. This was such a bad video idea. I'm a little concerned because it's like they shaved onion. You don't shave onion, okay? You slice it and you dice it. I'm not eating this one. I don't know what this is, but we'll give it a shot dry because I don't know if we should eat it with salsa or with mild sauce, but we can try both. This tastes like the Chipotle chicken wrap burrito. I'm gonna try it with salsa. It's green! Oh my god! Who makes salsa green? I'm not eating that. Who the fuck? Who does that? This is a better color. I poured it on my burrito and it looked like snot. Just straight snot. We'll try it with mild sauce. It's a pretty bussin' burrito. It does taste exactly like the chicken chipotle, just without the chipotle. But it's smacking. Then there's a box. What's in there? Let me know. Oh, it's a quesadilla. Oh, there's guacamole and sour cream with it. And it's like a half and half of a quesadilla. Quesadilla smells okay. We're gonna use sour cream first. That's good as fuck. The quesadilla actually goes hard. It's a very, very good product, Taco Bell. But I will continue it later because I don't know why binge eating this tonight would be a smart idea. I wasn't wanting to binge eat. I wasn't in the mood for a binge because I'm doing pretty well mentally tonight. But I thought, wow, I should push myself to film a YouTube video. That's all for this review. I'm not a food critic for a reason, and I'm happy I could give you evidence as to why. Just in case you needed clarity as, oh my god, Stephanie, you would be a great food reviewer. I wonder what it would be like for you. This is what it would be like. Let me know if I should become a food reviewer. I'll take your thoughts as facts. I put everything away in the bag and I'm probably just gonna snack on my Supreme until eventually hunger does hit me and not just nausea because that's taking over right now. I'm gonna be okay. I just have to get through this phase and it lasts sometimes a while. Okay, love you so much. I will see you in the next clip. It's me already. I'm watching another podcast and I love what this man just said. He just talked about how, especially since everything is an illusion that comes from our higher self, everything is an illusion that's built off of our mind. We are the creator of our reality. Our reality shows us judgments that we have internally to kind of show us and be aware of what we need to fix internally, because what triggers us is typically an open wound, which is something I'm aware of from what I've learned in mental health. And I recognize that in small things and about the content we watch and how we talk about others. It's all a reflection on how we feel internally, but this is just another thing. What we feel from the external is because of the internal. The way you react to everything, even the way you judge, is built on an internal judgment system that you still have constructed. I'm talking about me too. Again, because remember, anything I ever say, most times I say things in a way to educate, to kind of teach to others, although again, I have to really work on the condescending tone I can have sometimes when educating, but I typically talk in a way that I'm talking to other people because I've already recognized this stuff in myself and now I'm spreading the information of what I've learned. And it kind of goes along with what I'm saying right now, is that we are a reflection of everything in our world. The way we see others is the way we see ourselves deep down, maybe subconsciously or unconsciously. The thought that keeps popping into my mind is like, whenever you're really insecure, that's why some people will comment on other people's posts, spread hate, be like, oh, did you see this person's Instagram photo? I don't know why they're doing that, blah, blah, blah. It's because there's something inside of them that tells them that this is wrong and this is meant to be shamed, so they shame themselves, and then that carries on externally and they shame other people or spread negative energy towards other people because they do it towards themselves. It's an internal habit. Think of it in a way that everything you feel internally is how it will be expressed externally. We can mask and mirror, but whenever we're being ourselves, that's what's going to present the most. One of the things I want to work on is my judgment, and I feel like the more I learn about judgment and my own internal systems, the better I'm going to be able at deconstructing that system system as well. My old self, my old life, everything, it just is unsustainable. Like, I can't hold on to it anymore. I can't keep trying to use my old tactics and mirror and suppress myself and people please, or different things I would do to harm myself to make other people happy. Every single part of my old self is just completely dying out right now. And as I'm coming into this new person, to who I am, to who I feel the most aligned with, who I love to spend time with, everything is changing. I just hate going through these last phases of the grieving process and the losing process, yada yada yada. Every single time I say yada 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 now, I think of that government official. What's that guy? He was in some fancy chair, Congress, something. I don't understand my government, and I hope I never have to, because it is such an illogical and stupid system that I just mentally can't even comprehend why that was ever a system that stayed in place so long. But I also just think, again, I'm ahead of my time. I think in the way the future needs to be, so that way we can get there. We just have to suffer for a little bit. It's okay. Do it for the betterment of humanity. I keep forgetting to brush my teeth. I just hate it so much. I hate brushing my teeth. I hate it so much. If I even touch my tongue, it's like I'm gagging for 5 minutes and I'm just hunched over the sink being like, it's a miserable feeling. I need to finish watching this video because I could talk for hours, but I will see you in the next clip. I'm gonna hate myself whenever I see how many videos I have to edit for this video. I am back already, and I wanted to talk about something I had mentioned earlier. So I've been struggling a lot with behaviors that haven't served me for a very long time. I have a lot of self-centered thoughts right now. I've been struggling with maladaptive daydreaming, but they're not positive scenarios, they're negative scenarios where I'm causing conflict, where I'm inflicting it, I'm hurting someone's feelings. This is really raw, but I'm just gonna talk about it. I still struggle with that internally because for a very, very long time I hated myself. I felt hated by everybody, especially, even if that was an illusion. Wow, that's crazy because that was an illusion. I convinced myself everybody hated me, and that's the reality I lived in. I felt as if everyone hated me. It was a very miserable time. Having borderline personality disorder is such a painful disorder. It is a painful disorder. Once you understand yourself and you're able to start changing your behaviors and start loving yourself, it gets a lot better. And it is possible. Please do not let anybody convince you it's not, because if they do, they don't want the betterment for you. They're reflecting that thought that they keep for themselves onto you. They're sharing their beliefs with you. Sometimes you can't trust people, trust me. But recently, a lot of my old behaviors have been popping up again, and I've been feeling a lot of negativity inside my internal world, and that's been popping up in fear as well. And I'm like, how do I get rid of this? What is happening? I need to fix this. But in this video, they're talking about how there's like a step in the spiritual awakening, that narcissism is actually a step. And I've been wondering recently why I've been experiencing so many of the cluster B behaviors. Why have I been experiencing this more in my internal reality? I don't feel aligned with these thoughts. I heavily want to suppress these thoughts, but they happen quite frequently and I hate it. I want to change it. I feel like I have so many intrusive thoughts, but also just floods of thoughts where I just think more negative based things. I create scenarios in my head that lead to either mine or somebody else's demise when I could be daydreaming about and manifesting the reality I want to create in the future. But instead my mind goes to this habit. So I also want to change that, and I also want to fix that, or not fix, because it's not like a fixer-upper. It's a part of that journey. It's not something I need to fix. You're never really broken. Everything you experience is to teach you something. You can either take the lesson or take it as a loss. I just prefer to take it as a lesson, and it's just made me happier. I gotta work through this shit because my ego has been a huge driver in my behavior recently. I also think I have an individuality complex. That was a hard word to say. And the term that we are all one, I understand that very clearly, but it's hard for me to apply that and remember everybody deserves patience. Everybody deserves kindness. Everybody deserves compassion. That's something I personally want to incorporate into my daily routine, but it's been difficult. Being kind to not kind people is difficult. Fuck. I am a soul having a human experience. I don't think I have to be all light, all loving, all the time. No, you do. I'm grieving. I'm gonna have to have so much patience. Everyone does deserve it, and it's something I want to do. It's just a lot of work, but I'm excited because I have so much time. I'm gonna continue eating and watching the video. I'm gonna have some fun. You'll probably see me again. I love being read to filth by these videos because it helps bring awareness to things I haven't really gotten to myself yet. I talked about it briefly in one of the last clips. I'm still watching the same podcast with Robert. It's also with Andre, the creator of the Know Thyself podcast. Love the podcast. I do so much internal judgment that I don't realize that I externalize that as well, so I judge others. I base judgment on other people's actions and other people's perceptions and other people's life journeys because I am so judgmental of my own. But for me, it kind of benefits me. So then whenever I do it externally, it doesn't benefit me because judgment really only matters whenever you're the person who can change the behavior. So there's no reason for me to be making judgment on other people in general at all, not even slightly, because what do I gain from that? Because I can't change them, nor do I want to change them, because again, they're on their own journey, but I have so much judgment that I hold inside, and that's where the arrogance and the condescending tone stems from. The self-righteousness that I can fall into sometimes, where I'm like, I know the truth and other people don't, where I almost put myself on this pedestal of I know this information and others don't. So I almost have to make a clear representation that I'm up here and others are down here, even though that's not my intention. It's how it comes off, and it might even be a subconscious intention. I don't know. I'm gonna have to keep thinking about it and going deeper into the root of it. I loved this quote that Andre had said, you have to look into the roots to understand the fruit, or something like that. And I really loved that because it's true. You have to look into the root of a tree to figure out why certain fruits is growing on the tree and why it does, and why is the fruit rotting. Look in the roots. Is the fruit flourishing and tasteful? Then the roots are probably healthier. I love being read to filth. Most times I have to come to these realizations about myself on my own, which I'm totally fine with. Again, I am here for improvement. I'm not here for, oh, I found something that I'm doing that's more negative in my behavior, I should shame myself and shit on myself. No, I just now am aware that, okay, these are things I need to work on. These are things that I'm still actively being a hypocrite about. I made a video on TikTok the other day and I just couldn't post it because I was watching it back. I was talking about myself, but with the intention of saying it to other people. And I was like, wow, this is an extremely hypocritical video. And it really just brought into my sight of sometimes you need to humble yourself. There are, yes, things I know, but there are so many other things I don't know. And I don't mean to make videos that are coming off super arrogant and self-righteous and I'm right and everybody else is wrong. I like to spread awareness. But I was watching the video and that's just all I could digest is, oh my God, Stephanie, you need to take this lesson yourself before you try to give it to other people. I'm pretty sure one of my goals was that I wanted to work on my judgment. I know this is something I've been aware of that I want to change for a while, but I'm becoming more and more aware of how it affects my life and what intricate parts of my consciousness are struggling with this, what areas I need to work on this with in terms of relationships and relationship with myself and how I treat other people. I can't really find the words to describe what I'm really trying to come off. I'm really bad at English right now and I feel like my words are not coming off the way I want them to, so I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna keep watching the podcast and I'll probably be back. I'm picking up an order right now and I'm waiting, so I thought I would do some therapy while I wait. I forget that I'm still mentally ill and I have this internalized fear that any thought I have is gonna manifest into my reality. So a lot of my paranoid thoughts have been making me extra paranoid recently. I think a lot of this has to do with the fact that I'm manic, so my thoughts are a lot more digestible in not only a more positive but a lot more negative way. So every single time I have a thought or a paranoid thought, I'm like, oh my God, this is gonna manifest into my reality, yada yada yada. I know to my core this is irrational. I know it's irrational, but it's just one of those things that I don't have There we go. I don't have as much control over. I almost don't even want to say that, because the more control we convince ourselves we don't have, the more we allow our reality to shape without our control. I just keep reminding myself not to live in fear. Anytime a fearful thought pops up or a fearful feeling, it's important for me to not rationalize it, but to understand it as something you experience as a human. And I unfortunately deal with more rigid thought patterns, more paranoid thoughts, and I just have to let it pass and trust myself and trust my reality and trust that I am okay. I'm going to be okay. Everything's gonna be okay. But it is so difficult with just floods of them where it feels like I can't even be mindful because I'm so overstimulated with everything going on that my thoughts are just the cherry on top. The cherry on top of the melting sundae. That's how I would say it. I also have just been so aware of some of my more negative behaviors recently, which is a good thing. You want to be aware of them so that way you can change them. But I also start to think I convince myself that I'm this horrible person. I have malicious intentions. I want to hurt people, which is again, paranoid thoughts. That is not true. I have to really remind myself during this time, thoughts are not facts. Thoughts are not your reality. They are just thoughts. They are not you. And that's something I'm going to have to be learning a lot more about recently. And I'm just so thankful again to have a friend like Gray in my life. I feel like we both balance each other out so well. She is all love and light and I am all logic and thinking, and we both do both of those things. She's more this way, I'm more this way, and then we balance each other out. I think because I'm aware that I am hurting some people because of my actions, even though my intentions are not to hurt people, I know that who I'm becoming and the actions I'm taking and the path that I'm going on, it's ultimately going to hurt some people. Some people feel very disrespected by what I'm talking about and how I say it, which I can understand that. Sometimes I say things in a harsh way or in a rude way, and I can try to change the tone of the way I say things, which is actually my goal this week. But I'm aware that I'm going to be the villain in some people's stories, which is again valid. Sometimes we're the villain, sometimes we're the hero. Again, with polarity, we're always going to be a mix of the polarity, which is kind of cool because I'm a living embodiment of polarity. I have bipolar disorder, bipolarity. Look at me! It's so strange also just having the thought of, you chose this. I chose this experience. I chose to experience a lot of these things because as a higher self, we typically choose what we're going to be getting into during this human experience. I feel like we can choose the big events, but we don't choose how we react to them. Us as a human, we choose how to react and how to grow from the things we go through. So the things we go through are kind of set in stone, but how we react to it, how we respond to it, the actions we take afterwards is all the free will. That's the free will part. That's what makes it a polar experience. I've been getting really into the polarity aspect recently, so I know I've been saying polarity so often. It reminds me of Polaris from the 100. I am not a horrible person. Just because some of my actions will result in hurting some people and falling outs and confusion and feelings of disrespect, I cannot control how other people respond to my actions. I can only control my actions. I cannot control what people do with the information that I give them. I only control the information that I give. I cannot control my thoughts, but I can choose what thoughts to give attention to. Affirmations. This video is going to have so many clips in it, which I kind of like because it's just going to give you so many different insights into what my days look like and the different thoughts I have on different days and such. But you're probably going to hear the jingle that I have on my dates every 5 minutes. I'm going to go check inside to see if the order I'm waiting for is ready finally, so that way I can get going, because it was supposed to be a short order, but sometimes the orders take forever. So even though it's supposed to be a short trip, it ends up taking a while, which is okay, because who knows what I'm avoiding by being in my car in this moment, not on the road. Who knows what I'm being saved from by having to wait. Change your perspectives, guys. It's helpful. I kind of want to wrap this video up and give a summarization as to what I learned throughout all of the podcasts I watched this week and all of the perspectives I was exposed to. Holy cow, it was a lot of them. I've watched so many different sources, so many different perspectives, so many life experiences, and it's been so enjoyable. And it really just shows that we all have our own biases, our own perspectives, and we have to come together as a collective to bring them all together, to share the information, put the puzzle pieces together. The puzzle is a beautiful picture that comes together with many pieces that you have to tediously put them together. And I think life is just a really big puzzle where we all are the pieces and we all have to put it all together. I do think that my ego is something I want to work a lot on. I don't understand people who have loud cars. It's literally just so inconsiderate. I can understand if you're a car person, you enjoy cars, but oh, I enjoy big and loud. Big and loud. Big and loud is all, yeah. I'm being a Karen right now, and obviously it doesn't end my life. That was just a small inconvenience in my day that will pass over. I'll be fine. I say this in the sense of multiple things that are like that, like fireworks on the 4th of July. All it is big bangs and colors, which is cool. There's pros to everything. Again, it's enjoyable, it's fun to do with your family, but it ruins the environment, severely triggers dogs and people with PTSD and people like me who have sensory issues. I can't sit out and watch fireworks. It not only gives me too much anxiety, but it's extremely loud and it puts a bunch of smoke in the air. It's just so inefficient. That doesn't mean people shouldn't do it for enjoyment. I understand both sides of the argument. I really do. I think I'm just more siding on the argument of let's be a little bit more considerate of other people. But again, we're all here to experience different things. So me being inconvenienced for a little second, I'll survive. I do think that we are here having this individual experience. We are meant to be individuals to experience being an individual and then finding our way back to the collective. I've seen so many different perspectives. Some people believe that we should only be the collective. Some people think that anything that is within yourself is self-absorbed and egotistical. I sometimes feel that way. If I even say something positive about myself, especially if I refer to myself as intelligent now, I'm like, oh my god, what an egotistical bitch. Like, oh my god, she's so egotistical. Even though I've spent years, my entire life trying to be able to say positive things about me, I still have a lot more learning to do and figuring out what the ego is, what's the purpose for the ego in my reality, in my truth, because again, we're all different puzzles. We all have different perspectives. We all have different truths for what works for our life and our illusion and our reality. But then it comes together collectively. It's so complex. Again, I have so much to learn. I have so much to unlearn, more to unlearn that I might not even be aware of. There's just a lot. It's a lot. It's a very complex game and I'm trying to figure it out so that way I can use it for my benefit and enjoy this life and enjoy this experience the best I can. But yeah, I definitely want to work on my ego. I want to stay true to my goals. I want to work on being less judgmental. And the more I love, which is a big thing, I want to learn how to be more in love. I'll be less judgmental since I'll be more in love. I want to be more compassionate. That's a really big one because I want to make sure I'm not projecting my own arrogance, my own biases, my own perspectives in a negative way onto other people. I want to be compassionate, understand where people are in their journey and how it affects other people in their journey, in their reality, how they're experiencing that reality, what their intentions might be, even though it might not be what I think it is. Their intentions is different from where the action's coming off, because I experience that too, where sometimes our intentions are not aligned with the action that we take. Again, there's just so much for me to think about, but I am gonna go inside and check this order. I'm gonna end this video here, and I will obviously be back next week, so all of the videos going on will be for the next episode. But if you guys gained absolutely nothing from this video, you feel like you actually hate me more now as a person, you absolutely despise listening to me, which again, going back to what I said originally once, it's your choice to watch to this point. So if you consciously made the decision to watch to this point and you still are not happy with what you've been given, girl, I gave signs. You should have stopped watching a long time ago. Whether or not you like this video or not though, please just leave this video knowing that you are sexy, you are valid, and you are so loved, and I cannot wait to see you in the next video.